Hello, sports fans, and welcome to another edition of Scott Sports 101. I'm Scott Trella. We're going to talk Browns, the NFL draft. We're going to talk. We're going to talk Cavs, and we're going to talk Guardians. And we're going to have Player of the Week and some other NFL draft news. But first, here is today's Scott Sports 101 trivia question, and it is a Major League Baseball trivia question. It's a Guardians trivia question when they were the Indians. In 2002, who set a Cleveland Indians record for home runs with 52 big flies? And I'll have the answer later in the podcast. Well, we got some NFL draft / Browns news, and now the Browns do not have a pick in the first round again this year. Once again, and so this is the last time that they will not have a pick in the first round. This is last year, I should say. And but they will not have a pick until round two. They have number 54 in round two, number 85 in round three, and in the fifth round they have pick number 156, which they got from the Eagles. In the sixth round they have pick number 206 they got from the Ravens, and in the seventh and final round they have 243, pick number 243. Now the top needs at the Browns for the Browns in this draft are wide receiver, offensive tackle, and defensive line. And I think they're going to take an offensive lineman or a defensive lineman either way. The Browns are in pretty good shape, acquiring Jerry Jeudy. Theoretically helps at receiver through, though Jeudy was unreliable at times with the Broncos, getting help on both lines would be prudent without many other passing needs. Now, as I mentioned, they don't have a first round pick again this year, and this is the last year of it. And but the best day too fits. That's when they do have one. And this is one potential pick that they could do, and that is Jalen Polk, a wide receiver from Washington, and Kieran Amagi Amagidi Amagedi from it's an offensive lineman from Yale. I think it's Amagedi Amagedi from Yale as an offensive lineman. Now the Browns got a C minus or C plus, excuse me, a C plus. They got a C plus, mostly because they didn't have a pick in the first two rounds. They didn't get much contribution in the first two rounds. They didn't get either. Excuse me, I should say that much contribution either. Though offensive lineman Dewan Jones, a fourth round pick, made 9 starts and showed potential. And now there is a dream fantasy pick, a dream fantasy draft pick, I should say. 2 seasons of data would suggest this team's greatest need by far is at quarterback. Now the Browns have spent their way into into a predicament at that roster spot. Honestly, the dream scenario for fantasy is that all promising receiver prospects avoid Cleveland because we can't trust the current version of Deshaun Watson to feed them. But you know he's going to be back, and he has been working out. And Browns head coach Kevin Stefanski said that he has looked really good in his past workouts. And we know Nick Chubb is going to be back. And so we will see what happens when the season begins and what they do in the draft. Now, 4 years later, the Cleveland Browns are still waiting for Jedrick Wills to become the player they thought he was when they selected him with a top 10 pick in the 2020 NFL draft. Though it's possibly, uh, actually, no, possible, I should say, though it's possible that he could uh, finally have an above average season uh, in 2024. And it might not be enough to warrant an extension, especially with the type of talent and depth that this year's NFL draft class has at the offensive line. Now, at the offensive tackle position, I should say, and there is a player who the Browns could take, and he has put up some big number, and his name is Blake Fisher, is a player who will most likely be on Cleveland's radar heading into draft weekend due to his versatility, advanced technique, and play now ability. Now, Blake Fisher is an offensive tackle, uh, 5.6 inches and tall and 310 pounds. He played for the University of Notre Dame, and his stats in 2023 had 12 starts at right tackle. Overall, 26 career started at right tackle in both 2022 and 2023. Uh, relative athletics score and relative athletics score. Blake Fisher is an offensive tackle prospect in the 2024 draft class. He scored an unofficial 7.72 RAS out of a possible 10. This ranked 301 out of 1,314 offensive tackles from 1987 to 2024. Now, there are some splits projected. The big board ranking at time of publishing, and it's 97th. Now, what are experts saying? That's the other thing. Fisher has all the tools to thrive in the NFL. His quickness and length with his 6'6", 212-pound frame make him an imposing athlete at right tackle. And Fisher is far from raw with good, strong punches and comfort with different sets rarely found in two starters. AJ Schulte and AJ Schulte and Pro Networks Network Scout. Blake Fisher is technically advanced offensive tackle with vice grips, four hands, and an intriguing athlete, uh, profile to make an impact quickly at the next level. The draft, and that came from the Draft Network. And overall, Fisher is a young, long, and powerful blocker uh, uh, with good athletic ability, who can be an asset in the end zone, run game, and at tackle. He has more of a boom or bust element to his game as a pass protector that will require a plan for development before becoming a consistent starter. But he has the runaway and traits that for that to happen within his rookie contract. Brandon Thorne, B/R NFL scout. Now here are some pros to taking Fisher. Great length with strong hands to control defenders at the POA. consistent hand placement upon initial punch, excellent foot speed, consistently puts himself in a position to win the block. And the scheme versatile. He has been successful in multiple run schemes throughout his career at Notre Dame. Above average anchoring ability against bull rushes and wide rushers, excuse me, in pass pro. Uh, and his his agility, excuse me, and above average footwork allows him to get front of in front of uh, and seal defenders on outside runs and advanced when it comes to technique in both phases of blocking, run, and pass. Now here are some cons to taking him. Uh, he has had trouble recovering or resetting if he oversets or gets his hands swiped early. Needs to work on keeping a consistent pad level in the run game, occasionally slow with hand movement, and uh, Brown's uh, Browns player drafting could impact. Uh, and Jedrick Wills uh, drafting Fisher would likely spell the end of Will's tenure in Cleveland unless uh, he makes an astronomical jump in the 2024 season. Now, here's a priority: Jedrick Wills has shown flush in the pan instances above average play during his career in Cleveland, but he lacks the consistency needed to be relied upon at left tackle. If this team wants to improve and boast an offensive production going forward, then it might behoove them to select an offensive tackle at 54 or 85 because it could be a huge upgrade for the offensive line. So we'll see who they take in the draft. And we'll get to the Cavs and Guardians in just a moment. Right now, it's time to reveal the answer to today's Scott Sports 101 trivia question, which is a Cleveland Guardians when they were the Indians trivia question. In 2002, who set a Cleveland Indians record for home runs with 52 big flies? And if you said Jim Thome, you are correct. Jim Thome set a Cleveland Indians for home record for home runs with 52 big flies in 2002. I will have another trivia question on my next podcast, which will be on the NFL Draft Podcast next week. So stay tuned for that. And I'm really looking forward to that because I will be podcasting all 3 days of that from round 1 through round 7, leading up to pick number 257, Mr. Irrelevant. The Cleveland Cavaliers are in the 2024 NBA playoffs, and we now know who the Cavs will meet in the first round of the playoffs, and they will meet the Orlando Whoa, it's Magic in round 1. Game 1 of this 7-game series between the Cavs and Magic is set for Saturday at Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse, and that is scheduled for 1 o'clock on Saturday. So tune into that. And Game 2 will be at Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse. Game 3 will be at Kia Center, Orlando, Florida. Game 4 will be at Kia Center in Orlando, Florida. Game 5 will be back here at Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse if it's necessary. And Game 6, if necessary, will be at Kia Center in Orlando, Florida. And Game 7, if that is necessary, will be here at Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse. Now, the Eastern Conference matchup could determine the team future, the long-term future, excuse me, for Cleveland Cavaliers head coach JB Bickerstaff and the president and team president Kobe Altman and the roster as the team looks to avenge last year's first round exit against the New York Knicks. In the 2023 regular season, the Cavs and Magic played each other 4 times. Each team won twice. They're a young team, Cavs center Jared Allen said. They're going to be fighting for a lot, I think. We've just got to go in with the mentality that we have to throw the first punch. Niang noted he heard what Allen said about striking first. Now, that's what you're looking to do in any type of a fight because that's what playoff basketball is, Ning added. And it's a 7-game series, and it's a fight. And I feel this is a series that the Cavs need to win after last Sunday's loss to the Charlotte Hornets in the final home game, which they lost, I think lost on purpose. And fans didn't like that, and neither the media. And for that, they need to win this series for this to be water under the bridge. Moving on to the Guardians, they did win 5-4 today, but I have a little Guardians editorial story I've got. Now, Daniel Sheeman may see time in the major leagues this season, while his name and appearance at the plate might not turn many heads. His stats, to begin the 2024 campaign surely will. As the Cleveland Guardians organization looks to begin a trek back to the MLB postseason, offensive consistency has certainly been a focal point. Talking to talking taking a short 2-hour trip down to Columbus from Cleveland will bring to Huntington Park. Park to the home of the Clippers. There are many names to see, like number 2 prospect Kyle Manzardo and number 3 prospect Daniel Espino and number 7 prospect George Valera. However, one who is standing out amongst the youngsters is Daniel Sheeman. Although in the Guardians' MLB pipeline, he is not placed within the top 30 prospects. He has already made a staggering impact this season, though 13 games. He has recorded 38 at bats while knocking 9 hits. His play at the plate is so complete that he very rarely leaves a game without a hit or a walk. Though his 9 hits, 2 have been doubles and 2 have been a home run, which has contributed to 5 RBIs. Currently, his OBP sits at an impressive 420, while his OPS is at 867, just below the 1.0 mark. He has just 7 strikeouts. He has just 7 strikeouts while finding 12 walks, a number that at one point in time was 3-10, heading into the Clippers' most recent series against Louisville. For comparison, there are just 3 individuals at the major league level for the Guardians that have 7 strikeouts or less. Those three are David Fry, Josh Naylor, and Gabriel Arias. Both Arias and Fry have recorded 23 and 32 at bats, respectively, on the year, whereas Sheeman is at 38 on the season. With his skills at the plate beginning to shine, the Guardians may look to bring up to see if his consistency can bring commendable on base presence to the big leagues. In the Clippers' most recent outing against Louisville Louisville Bats, Sheeman found a home run and single to help guide the team to a 7-5 win. His single was recorded as the third fastest exit velocity on the team that game at 102.9 miles. His ability to hit line drives, darts off his bat, and also play top notch defense combined for a great role player fit on any major league roster. Now, if the consistency remains throughout the season, there is a very good chance the organization could give the 27-year-old a shot on the major league roster. So we'll see. Will they give him a shot? We will have to just wait and see. Now it's time for the my play of the week. Player of the week. I'm going to do that right now for you, and I'm going to give it woo, to and I am going to give it to LeBron. There are two of them, LeBron James and Jalen Brown. And Lakers forward LeBron James and Celtics forward Jalen Brown have been named the NBA Player of the Week for Week 19 of the 2023-24 NBA season. And well, they have really put up some big numbers. Jalen Brown, 28.3 PPG and 5.3 RPG, and they really, and LeBron James, 30.3 PPG and 4.7 PPG, 8.7. They have really put up some big numbers to really earn that Player of the Week award. And I gotta tell you, this is really a really big one for him, for Jalen. Because he really put up some big numbers, and he really just really wanted to. And I gotta tell you, this really and it really does deserve for them. So LeBron James and Jalen Brown, my NBA players of the week. And I want to just touch base on with the NFL draft coming up. I want to just touch base that I just want to just touch base on the Browns and and now with the NFL draft coming up, and a lot of teams could make some surprise moves. They could make them, and so we shall see what they do. And AJ Simon is forget that. And an NFL draft hopeful AJ Simon has died at the age of 28. He was supposed to be a hopeful for that for the NFL draft, and my thoughts and prayers go out to the Simon family during this difficult time. And former Albany offensive lineman AJ Simon, a 2020 NFL draft hopeful, has died at the age of 25. School announced Wednesday the Albany football program was deeply saddened to learn the passing of former student athlete amateur AJ Simon this morning. Albany said in a statement posted on social media, AJ was a tremendous young man and even better teammate throughout his time at University of Albany. He was a role model both on and off the field, serving as a pillar to this program over the last 2 years. He will be profoundly missed. And the cause of death was not immediately announced. We don't know what was the cause of death, and ESPN ranked him as the 448th prospect in next week's NFL draft. So, but a lot of teams could make some surprising moves in the draft next week. So, and I will be podcasting that on and off the field. So, and it will be on. And it will be on ESPN and on I think ABC the first night. And I'm trying to find. Yeah, we'll start at uh, uh yeah, we'll start at I think it starts at 8 o'clock, I think, or 7 or 8 o'clock, I think. Uh I'm trying to find out the date and time right now before I sign off. Let me do this quick. Uh all it says well for round one, it will begin at 7 p.m. and Friday will begin at 8, Saturday at 12 noon. So that's how you can catch it. And I'll be podcasting it through all three, as I mentioned, rounds leading up to pick 257 Mystery Relevant. Well, that's just about going to wrap it up for this edition of Scott Sports 101. I'll be back next week with the NFL Draft Podcast because I'm working on that. So I'll be back next Thursday with that. But until then, always remember, be a team player each and every day in every way possible. So long, everybody. 3, 2, 1. I'm done.